Is the world really led by a cabal of elites who have sold their soul? Is the Illuminati a real thing? Is this world led by people who worship Satan? Or is it led by lizard people? What if I told you that there's a film that answers all of these questions, and it happens to be a film that was seen as just an ordinary slasher film, gore fest, but it ended up going places deeper and darker than audiences ever expected. And it all goes down in the third act of this film that creates a twist that nobody saw coming. If you were to read this synopsis, you would not think this film goes the places it does, right? Simply put, the synopsis reads like this. When a struggling photographer meets the owner of a prominent art gallery, he sees a chance for the success that has so far eluded him. Determined to show the darker side of humanity for his debut showing, he crosses paths with Mahogany, a serial killer who preys on late-night subway commuters. His fascination with Mahogany pulls him and his lover deep into an evil abyss. Now, when you read this, okay, evil abyss, that's a bit vague, but okay, interesting. This sounds like it could be just a regular gory slasher fic, or it could be like a Hannibal Lecter, Will Graham situation like Red Dragon. Or it could be this serial killer psychological profile shit where the two main characters are connected. No, not that at all. I'm gonna tell you right now, this movie is ridiculous as hell, and for that reason it'll be underrated for the rest of time despite having a cult following. It is so ridiculous. It has crazy gore, CGI blood and eyeballs. It has some of the most weirdly coordinated and stylized sequences I've ever seen. Some dialogue that's just really stupid and cheesy, but my god, this movie's damn good. Because yes, it does start off very gory. This dude brutally hammers people's heads in, rips their eyeballs out, cuts them up into pieces, and all that. And you're wondering why the hell is he doing it? He even has a fight with UFC fighter Rampage Jackson in one of the most badass fights in the goddamn train, with some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard, but it's hilarious. This fight's awesome. But when the third act goes down, and Bradley Cooper and his girlfriend sink into this abyss, and we see the depths of darkness that is behind this movie, when they follow Mahogany underground in the subway tunnels, and he has this final confrontation with our killer, what occurs? Because Mahogany's almost dead here, but Mahogany tells him what the true purpose of him killing all these people was. Because the truth is much, much deeper and horrifying than anyone could have heard, than anyone could have known. This ain't a regular slasher. This ain't a dude who's just a serial killer. No. He's killing all these people with a purpose, a singular motivation. You see, he's been instructed by an organization of elites who've started this almost esoteric cult. He has to kill human beings and collect their bodies to feed them to a race of reptilian lizard monsters that lie beneath our world, beneath our cities, in tunnels. And they are appeased by eating flesh. They are cannibalistic in nature. And if we don't feed them regularly, they will come up to the surface and destroy everyone. They've been here for a long time. These beings are ancient monsters. Almost godlike, some could say. They've been here since before the conception of these cities. Some could call them the founding fathers of these cities, of Western civilization, because the elites have been worshipping them and appeasing them for a long time now. So when Bradley Cooper finds this out, when the truth is revealed, his fate is darker than anyone could have ever predicted. The conductor of the train, who plays Marcus in Underworld himself, comes out and says, "Hey, you're the new guy now. Because now Mahogany's dead and his time has passed. We need a new killer who can feed them." So, this dude, displaying superhuman powers, rips out Bradley Cooper's tongue and eats it. That's the first step of the ritual. Then he goes to Bradley Cooper's fine-ass, Leslie Bibb, fine-ass wife. Beautiful wife, tears her goddamn heart out in front of Bradley Cooper. Because he needs to take away all of Bradley's humanity. Every connection he had to the human world is gone now, and his tongue is gone. He is now a spiritual servant to these monsters. And now he's gained enhanced strength and enhanced physiology, but he has no humanity left. He has now only one purpose: to feed these monsters before they come up to destroy the world. This is one of the darkest fates any protagonist has had in a movie ever. No one expected this shit in this film. If you are not familiar with Clive Barker's short story about this, you would not have known what the hell was going on. You would have thought this was just a regular brutal slasher film. No. This goes to the Lovecraftian, okay? This adds a whole new layer to the movie we saw beforehand. Not only does this twist ending recontextualize the killer and recontextualize the main protagonist and what their roles truly are in this world, but it adds a whole new species of lore to it all. And it all comes down to them. What are these creatures, these lizard men who cannibalize and eat bodies? What are they truly? Well, if you're not familiar with Clive Barker's short story, it explains to you that these are known as the Fathers. They are monsters that have predated the cities. They've predated us, for God's sakes. They are ancient beings that we worshipped. Ancient, subterranean, and they've lived and existed beneath the city for centuries. And this system of killing human beings and feeding them is enforced to maintain order and stability. Otherwise, they would come up and chaos would erupt. Lovecraftian chaos would erupt, y'all. They existed in the world before man. A world where Lovecraftian, dark, evil, godlike entities walked upon the earth before being imprisoned or silenced or entering into their cosmic slumber. That's where they existed. And then they were forced underground in its like own little pocket dimension where they awaited fresh meat. The original concept art for the short story and for the movie was way more esoteric, way more ancient in the way they're designed and the way their suits and their costumes are and all that. This kind of shows you how ancient these beings are and how godlike they are to these humans. Now, what do they represent? Well, from an allegory perspective, they represent the urban, the hidden cost of civilization, the darkness that lays underneath, the literal meat under the city that keeps it running. They also represent a class divide, a bunch of elites feeding the poor to ancient powers to preserve their status. But more than anything, it's the suppression of truth. Society's comfort depends on burying atrocities, and the butchers are the ones who know the truth but perpetuate the system. This is a very, very interesting commentary on what happens in the real world. But when I was looking into these lizard creatures, there was one thing I found years ago when I first watched this movie. They had a master, they had a god that they were subservient to, that hid under the tunnels with them. And what I read, basically there's like one of these godlike beings for every quadrant of the world where these lizard men exist. So underground this city, there's a bunch of lizard men and they worship one being, this cosmic being. And then it's the same can be said for different parts of the world. The only problem is I cannot find any trace of this now when I try to Google it and search it. I couldn't find any remnant of this god ever being mentioned. I even asked ChatGPT and it doesn't even know what the hell I'm talking about. It just says no, they don't. These lizard men don't serve anyone. What are you talking about? So I had to ask myself, was it all in my head, or is there a fucking conspiracy that the internet's destroying and wiping clean any trace of this lore? I can't find this. So either I made this up or something's going on and Hollywood is on to me. I don't know what's going on. This thing existed, y'all. So I had to try to figure out what the hell I saw. What was this god that these lizard men were worshiping? I was obsessed. I was obsessed with making this video, trying to uncover the truth. And I think the truth that I'm looking for can be found in another film that has a similar concept and maybe is connected. If you've seen the movie Cabin in the Woods, where a bunch of hot people are basically brought to a cabin. They're chilling there for vacation or whatever, but underneath the cabin, there is this facility that's facilitating events so that basically a horror movie can occur. That the characters that follow these tropes can be killed off, and it's like a blood ritual to sustain the ancient ones. These large, giant gods that if they're not sustained with this blood ritual, this specific ritual too, they will come up and destroy everything. Very, very similar to the lizard men of Midnight Meat Train. They represent us. They represent the audience who constantly wants the same formula of the movie so we can be entertained and appeased, right? And if we don't get it, we riot and we're like, no, what is this bullshit, right? It's a very, very telling allegory of modern audiences because they are in many ways pathetic. It's the shit they choose to watch. Venom 3 fans. Both these stories of horror are used as an allegory for what we're willing to overlook for societal order. Who we sacrifice, the truths we suppress in favor of pleasure and ignorance, like in Cabin in the Woods, in favor of entertainment, we will allow certain things to happen, and how systems are sustained by blood, violence, and ritual. Both these movies represent that. But what I told you, they're connected. That's right. Another schizo theory, y'all. And this one's true. Because if I can't find that one god I was looking for, I'm gonna replace it with another. These beings, these reptile beings, are like in servitude. They're emissaries to larger ancient gods. You could say, if you were looking at it from a Lovecraftian mythos lens, they're like the deep ones, what the deep ones are to like Dagon or the great old ones, right? The Cthulhu level beings. That's what they are to the Ancient Ones. So the lizards from Midnight Meat Train and the giants, the Ancient Ones from Cabin in the Woods, are part of the same system, the same hierarchy. Pre-civilization rulers, with the implication being that they once ruled over the world and humanity's current reign is only possible because of their imprisonment and appeasement. Now, I don't know how they were imprisoned. Maybe they just fell into a slumber over time. I'm not sure how or why. But on a meta level, the Ancient Ones may also represent repressed cultural fears, right? They're imprisoned by society's adherence to rules and rituals and structures. Breaking that tradition lets the primal horror free. That's what's Lovecraftian about this concept. Midnight Meat Train is the exact same thing. We suppress the darkness and live in ignorance while it festers below. Cabin in the Woods, we allow for a certain ritual of entertainment to take place, and at our ignorance and pleasure, it does. And if it goes away, if we break from the cycle, the fear of what happens, the unknown chaos of what happens, takes the form of these monsters. Midnight Meat Train is one of the most batshit crazy movies I've ever seen in my life. Okay, I love this goddamn movie. I don't care. I know a lot of people are not a fan of the style, the way it's made, the way the gore is so over the top and CGI and all this shit, and the story, some of the dialogue, all that. It's very schizo, but it does what few movies do. It gives us an ending that makes us say, what the fuck did I just watch? And makes us rethink the entire film, and makes the story unpredictable. Most movies don't do that. This movie does. Watch this movie, y'all. Watch it. I don't know what video I'm going to put at the end screen of this. I will put one, all right? As a recommended. Watch it next. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.